Welcome to Hide and Seek TV. I'm about to get ready to do a very deep breakdown. I'm actually going to be covering a lot in this video. And what I'm going to be covering mainly is about Kobe right quick. Because what I want to talk about is very serious because I came across some more information as I just took some time to really just sit back and, review some things. And remember back in '09, remember Kobe had beat Orlando Magic. And as you can see, you got that cow right there. You see the cow right there under the Spalding, because it's just written in Revelation 4:7 that the Messiah is as the royal cow, the royal he's as the flying eagle, he's as the Lion of Judah, and he is as the Son of Man. So hint holy cow. Notice why they got that cow right there, right? So what I want to talk about, which is so deep, you already know Kobe. Remember they used to call him the Black Mamba, and as it's written in Scripture, this is why Kobe was playing the false Messiah role. Remember, I said Kobe is from Philadelphia, and remember in Revelation 3 that the Messiah get the key of hell. I mean the key to open up the kingdom of heavens, doors through what? The Church of Philadelphia, of the seven churches in Revelation, right? Notice how Kobe had to be from Philly. And when you look at it as it's written, Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. So let's get deep. Because remember, he went up into the helicopter. You know what I mean? And I'm really going to explain this because symbolically, we already know this stuff. All of this stuff is staged. But I'm just like symbolically, what I want to talk about is, as you can see, you got N72EX on the helicopter. And what's deep about when you take the 72 away, obviously you got NEX left, right? And all that represents is to slaughter, violence, it's death, things of that nature. And the Latin, it all next means it's to slaughter, death. So notice the 72 because remember in Luke 10:1, as it's written, after these things the Lord appointed over 70 also and sent them two and two before his face into every city and place whither he himself would come. So hint how all of this comes together right here. So as you see, the 72, obviously sent by Messiah, hint. Therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. As it's written, go your ways, behold, I send you forth as lambs among wolves. So hint the whole theme of doing the work. So you see you got the 72. And then you got the next, the slaughter. And then what I want to talk about is, obviously, for people who've been watching my channel for a while now, I've been breaking this number 44 down and why Obama had to be the 44th president. As you can see on the car, Kobe got the 44 on the license plate. You see that down there? The 44, right? And all that represents is nothing but the Ark of the Covenant. As you can see, you got the two rods. You got the one on the left, one on the right, and that all shows the second coming, everything coming into fruition to rule the Ark of the Covenant. That's why Obama had to be the 44th president. And notice why he had to push the LGBT, because remember, with the Ark, remember when Noah landed, what happened? You had the Ark as a covenant from the Most High with the rainbow. So that's why Obama had to be the president to push that. It's all high-level blasphemy. And when you look at it too, this is what I'm about to get into right quick. Pay attention one more time. Let me go back. Notice you got N72E, right? You got the helicopter. Now I was listening to Bruno Mars. I went back and reviewed some things. And obviously you can see you got the plane. Just like Kobe, you got N72. You see that? And you got the 3. So hint the E and the 3. They look alike. So notice you got N723. And then notice over here, you got N72E. You see that? This stuff is deep. So what I want to do is I actually want to go back and I'm going to look at it right quick, because what I want to talk about is, notice how Bruno Mars obviously chose the 24KARAT Magic. Remember I said Kobe played the Magic. That was his finals that he played was against, that was like his 4th championship that he won. Remember the 5th one was against Boston. But remember he had to beat Orlando Magic, because when you understand Magic, all that represents is nothing but powers of the spirit. And it's all blasphemy, like in witchcraft, but it's all their way of blaspheming the Holy Spirit. So it was like him attaining it. That's why he had to beat Boston after that, because you know how Boston Celtics used the leprechaun. Hence, the leprechaun is a Messiah blasphemy, where the leprechaun goes over the rainbow and gets the pot of gold, gets the kingdom of heaven. It's all blasphemy. That's why they had to let that all be set for Kobe to do that. But as you see, notice how Bruno Mars picked 24, right? So I want to show y'all something. Look at this. Listen to this right quick. Hold on, listen. Let me go back a little bit. Hold on.
Got to blame it on Jesus. Hashtag blessed. They ain't ready for me.
You hear that? We way too fresh. Hint, we the Masons, we the people. We way too fresh. Got to blame it on Jesus. Hint the Masonic G. Got to blame it on Jesus. Hashtag blessed. They ain't ready for me. You hear what I'm saying? So let's get a little deeper into it. Let me fast forward just a little bit.
Put some money in my pocket. Keep up. Why you mad? Fix your face. Let
me go up a little bit.
Players only. Come on, put your pinky rings up to the moon.
Put your pinky fingers up to the moon. Hint to make the covenant with the Masons because the New World Order is being agenda and pushed. That's why the whole theme, the moon, hint the Masons worship the moon. And obviously, if you look at it, it's the casino theme because all that represents is nothing but the gamble of life. You know, do what thou wilt. You know, take a risk, take a risk, and lose your soul so that you can gain the world. That's all he's saying. But listen to this right quick.
Girls, what y'all trying to do? What you trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air.
24 karat magic in the air. 24 and magic. And when you know about Kobe, that was the most important championship for Kobe. Because remember, that was his first title without Shaq. You know what I'm saying? And he had to win in Orlando. Remember, Orlando had the bubble and the Lakers won. Because all the bubbles symbolically represented was nothing but the kingdom of heaven. Hint the bubble, the dome. And remember, everybody had to get a shot in order to enter. Remember that? So it's like the whole theme of like, you know how, as it's written, that the chosen remnant are the only ones who can enter into the kingdom, the saints, and those who are joined with them. Hint the whole theme of those who had to get the whole theme of, getting a injection just so that they can be able to be in the kingdom, the dome, Orlando Magic. All high level blasphemy. High level. But look at this too, because this stuff, people love, man, this stuff don't matter, man. But when you understand what we're living in, the world we're living in, like the prophecies is being fulfilled right before our eyes. You know what I'm saying? This stuff is serious. So let's just keep it going. This is not like important for salvation, but it's important to witness the signs, you know what I mean? To know what's going on and know which prophecies are coming into fruition. High level predictive programming, And Kobe, hold on. Kobe, remember his whole situation allegedly, it take place in, where is it? John Wayne's airport, right? I'm going to get into this. So before I levitate even higher. So notice you got John Wayne's airport, right? So when you look at it, remember John Wayne, he was the cowboy. Hint the cow. Remember I said Messiah is the cowboy, the royal bull. Remember as it's written in Revelation 4:7. So as you look at it, John Wayne, remember he was the cowboy. And remember, it was deep because remember how he dies at 72. Hint Kobe Bryant with the 72 on the helicopter. You see that? And then too at that as well, notice how he battled what was his stomach cancer. Remember he had stomach cancer. And he had respiratory arrest, you know what I mean? Like cardiac arrest, which is deep because I'm going to get into that later on with George Floyd, the I can't breathe. I'm going to explain all of this. But when you notice that hint, the stomach cancer, remember Chadwick Boseman with the alleged colon cancer. And you see how what's so deep, remember I broke this down before, how Kobe goes up in the plane and then Chadwick Boseman allegedly dies 5 days after Kobe's birthday, August 23rd. He died August 28th, allegedly. So you see how, remember as it's written in scripture, for as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the whale, so must the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. So hint Kobe going down in the helicopter and Chadwick Boseman being like the heart of the earth. Hint the stomach cancer. And let's get even deeper because when you understand when you understand the zodiacs of the Virgo, which is crazy because you know the Virgo deals with the belly, it deals with the stomach, as you can see. You see that it deals with the stomach, and remember, as it's written, that the Messiah is born through the Virgin Church. So notice how Chadwick Boseman had to have the stomach issue, because as it's written, hear me out, as it's written, a woman clothed with the sun and moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars, and she being with child, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. Hint the belly, the stomach issue. You know what I mean? And it's all blasphemy because they trying to say, okay, we bringing forth the Antichrist. Remember the whole thing of all of that getting initiated. Because I've been breaking this stuff down with Obama, and I'm gonna show this later on too. But remember, like I was saying, like how Chadwick Boseman plays the Black Panther, and as it's written in Revelation 13, that the Antichrist come forth like a leopard out the sea. Hint, the panther ain't nothing but a leopard. That's why they, without spots. That's why they had to push the Black Panther movement. That's why they pushed that high level red pill revolutionary Black Panther movement. Because as it's written, the Babylonian whore rideth upon the beast, aka the leopard, the panther. You know, I've been breaking this stuff down. But what I want to show too is Kobe right quick. Notice how he became a chef on a commercial years ago, like 10 years ago. And notice he became a chef and he was cooking, and you see the fire. Look at that. You see how he got the fire. And you see how he's on a Turkish Airlines, hint the plane. They call him the flying chef. So when you look at it, notice the Turkey, like, you know, over in Turkey, like near Russia. Remember with Noah, when he landed in the with the ark. Remember when the landing with the ark. Remember that the longitude of Mount Ararat, which is basically Turkey, hint that the longitude is 44.3. So notice that 44 to prove my point when Noah lands the ark. You see that? And that's why Kobe had to have a 44. You see how deep this goes? Because Mount Ararat, where Noah lands, is literally where? It's basically Turkey. That's why Kobe had to have that commercial 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And what's so deep is Kobe, remember how they said that he allegedly, you know, with the situation at 9:06 a.m. it all go down? So hint 9:06 a.m. Hint the area code for that is St. Mary, like up in upper peninsula, Michigan. And the area code is 906. Now let's get deeper right quick, y'all. Hint Passion of Christ came out 2004, right? We already know the obviously the blasphemy and all of this, but the whitewashing. But hint Passion of Christ comes out 2004. Hint Kobe and Shaq played their last finals was in 2004 together. And what happened? They lost to the Pistons. Hint Michigan. You remember Michigan? Hint Michigan. I just showed y'all 906 with the time they left the airport, and hit 906 is Michigan's area code. So notice Pistons versus Lakers. And when you understand the Piston, hint the black horse. You know the whole theme of that. You know what I mean? When you understand the horses, when you understand the black horse, that represents nothing but economic, death, economic crisis, death, and things of that nature. So notice Kobe had to lose against the Pistons in 04. Passion of the Christ comes out with the crucifixion, 04. You know what I'm saying? Hint 906, because now, you just had the 2021 NBA draft where the Pistons have the number one draft pick a year after Kobe allegedly, dies out the picture. You see how deep that goes. And notice how they got the number one draft pick, because remember, as it's written, those who pierce Messiah shall see him. Notice his helicopter, he was flying in a 1991 helicopter, S-76, a S-76B helicopter, right? So let's get deep into that, because what's so deep about this, as it's written, in which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Yahushua, aka Christ. Hence, the 76 degrees is what foreshadows the kingdom to come, because it is written, in that day there should be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt. So hence the 76 degrees. Hence Kobe drives in the 76 helicopter. And as it's written in Psalms 118:22, the headstone which the builders, aka Masons, reject to use, has now become the headstone of the corner. The 76 degrees, Messiah becoming king. And that's why Illuminati pyramid has no headstone, just all CNI. So, as you see, like I said earlier, Noah landed on Mount Ararat. You remember I was talking about that, how Kobe had that Turkey plane commercial, and then the longitude of Turkey is 44.3, what, you know, Mount Ararat. You know what I mean? How all this comes together. Hint, Obama break your neck. I mean, my bad, Busta Rhymes break your neck song. Notice you got the 44 right there. Hint, Ark of the Covenant. You see the 44? And then notice you got that sun in between it, because that circle, because what that represent, they want to break Messiah's neck. Remember that song Bone Crusher by what was I Ain't Never Scared, and he was talking about break your bones. Like all of that stuff all comes together in this, man. Break your neck. They don't want Messiah to be the head. You see that? So you see that 44, and then you see the circle right there, right? Hint, this right here is high level, because all this represents is nothing but Israel being oppressed. And I'm gonna explain this right quick, and I want y'all to hear me out, because it's written in Isaiah 14, which is deep, y'all. Because it's written in Isaiah 14, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I would exalt my throne above the stars of God. Hence, as is written that Israel is as the stars. Remember Most High told Abraham that his descendants shall be as the stars of heaven. So notice Lucifer says, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, and I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. And he said he will rise above the height of the clouds as well, because it is written, Israel is as the clouds, and Israel is as the four winds of heaven. So notice you got Lucifer, the false light, rising up. You see that, possessing the Ark of the Covenant. Hence the 44, Obama the 44th president. And then you remember Obama obviously has the sunset, you know, the sunrise. Hence this. You see that? How deep this stuff go? Hence Obama right here, man. If you know, this whole sign right here was nothing but the ancient pharaoh Akhenaten. And Obama looks just like him, and this is literally this is nothing to play around with. You know, I've been covering this a lot in my videos, man. How all of the great deception to push the black energy, you know, not going by your true identity, just calling yourself black, because all you then doing is now you're in the masonry, hint the black and the white checkerboard, you know, darkness versus light. And that's why they use white, and that's why they use black people, because it's all about the battle of trying to overcome, you know, being oppressed by the light of God. That's just this high level masonry. That's what the movie Get Out was about, with the black and whites. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? This stuff is deep, man. But what I want to show right quick is obviously right here. I gotta zoom in. You see that right there on Bruno Mars? And you see how he got that same sign. Look at this. I know it's kind of hard to see because I zoomed in, but notice that right quick before I zoom out. So you see how he got that same sign on the pillow? Hint, the pillow, the chair is like comforting, the throne. And then notice you got that lily sign right there, right under it. Because that all represents having Israel, hint the saints, the lily. As it's written in Hosea, that the Messiah is as the lily. He sprout up as Sharon's rose. He sprout up as the lily. Songs of Solomon, he sprout as the Sharon, rose of Sharon. And in Hosea, I believe 14 or 15:3, that he sprouteth as the lily. So you see how the Lucifer is trying to say that he got possession over the saints of God. Obama policies. You see how deep that goes. Blame it on, let me go back one more time, man. Listen to this one more time. Hold on.
Do your dip, blame it on Jesus. Hashtag blessed. They ain't ready for me.
Blame it on Jesus. Come on, y'all. This stuff is in our face, man. It's all in our face. Hint, on the doggone video, Bruno Mars, you see that 24 right there. You see the 33, obviously, for the high level of masonry. And then you see that number 1, because hint, Messiah is the number 1. But notice on the far left around, like right there, you got 823. Remember, that's Kobe's birthday, August 23rd, 823. And when you understand how deep that goes, 823, before I get into, let me break this down a little more. So you see you got August, August 23rd, 823, and then you got 24 right there. Hint for Kobe. And you see the ball was going to the 24. So look at that, 823. So when you know about Houston, Texas, hint 823 is the area code. And like I've been breaking this down. Remember, Texas is the star of the Lone Star State, and Longhorn State. Messiah is the horns of salvation, Star of Bethlehem. So Houston, Texas, and then you got 823 Kobe birthday, and then now you got George Floyd, who's allegedly from Houston. You feel what I'm saying? And remember that I can't breathe. Remember I said I was gonna break this down later on. Remember I was talking about John Wayne, how he was at John Wayne Airport and John Wayne had the cardiac arrest and the stomach cancer. Remember I was talking about that. So when you look at how deep this goes, George Floyd, he comes from Houston to I can't breathe. Because when you understand how deep that is, and I'm gonna explain that a little later too. But during the time of Messiah, remember when he got crucified, the spear went through his ribs and through it into his lungs. The whole thing of blood and water coming out. I can't breathe. The lungs full of water. I can't breathe. You see that? How deep this goes, because they want him to remain as just a sacrifice. They don't want him to be a king. They want his lungs filled up with water. You know what I mean? The whole theme of him not being able to breathe, not being able to, as we know that his tongue is the mighty sword. How can you speak if your lungs is filled with water? You're gonna choke to death. So you notice how deep this is. That's why they had to have a whole thing of that with a cop and all of that, because it was just basically trying to say, oh man, you can't defeat Obama policies. Remember, I just showed y'all that with Bruno Mars, with the pillow and the whole theme to it is. Remember, I showed y'all that. You see how deep this goes, and it's no joke because remember George Floyd come from remember he went to Minnesota when all that went down. Minneapolis used to be the Lakers, right? Minneapolis used to be the Lakers. And when you understand this too, which is so deep, because Minneapolis, let me pull it up right quick. Minneapolis connect right to up the Nile River. It connects right to Cairo, Illinois. And remember I said earlier, let me go back. Remember I said earlier, in that day there should be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt. Hint Cairo, Egypt, and hint Minneapolis, where George Floyd's at. The Minneapolis Lakers back in the day. And then Minneapolis connects to Cairo, Illinois. Hint Cairo. Hint Minnesota is where the toaster was first created. Remember Messiah is as the bread of life. And when you understand that too, remember as it's written, I'm going to pull it up for people who ain't really familiar with this. But as it's written, his feet look as if they were burnt in the furnace, man. He looked brown as if he was burnt in the furnace. So hint the toaster created in Minnesota. Come on, y'all. I can't breathe. Hint Bruno Mars. Let me pull it back a little bit. It's kind of too zoomed. Hint Bruno Mars is from Hawaii, right? Obama's from Hawaii. Hint Jay-Z when he first came out with Jazzo back in the day, back in like the 80s. Hint he had to do the Hawaiian Sophie. Hint the whole thing back when Obama was born, I think 1961. When Obama was born, that's when the Hawaiian Punch guy really became exclusive, like the fruit punch. All of this stuff is in our face, man. It's all in our face. You know what I mean? And the Hawaiian Punch, hint the Hawaiian Punch guy right here. For people who ain't probably know what I'm saying, Hawaiian Punch guy. And remember how he was connected. Obviously, that all connects to Kool-Aid. Remember with the Kool-Aid Jammer, man. Look at this. Remember how Kool-Aid would come through the wall? Remember I said Messiah is the stone, the rock that the masons, the builders reject to use. Hint no headstone because Messiah is the headstone, the rock. So you see how you got the Kool-Aid Jammer Man, and he's connected obviously with the Hawaiian Punch guy. And you see the glass, because that represents nothing but the glass dome of heaven. And notice how they keep him all red, because they want him to remain a sacrifice. Remember, I said this earlier in John 19 that he's filled with blood and water. I can't breathe. Hawaiian Punch guy. Oh yeah. Crazy, y'all. And the thing that pissed me off, you got the ice cubes too. Hint the Sub-Zero. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Hint Sub-Zero versus Scorpion. Messiah got the spear, the rod, Scorpion. And you got Sub-Zero. The Masons. The Ice Cold. Moon Worshippers. Come on, y'all. It's all in our face. Notice behind your boy Bruno, he had to have the number 6 as well. So that show everything was coming into fruition. Remember Drake had the song flying through the way he said riding through the 6 with my woes. Hint woe unto those who doeth evil. Destruction. Come on, y'all. And I want to get deep right quick, because I gotta delve into this aspect right here. Let's delve deep into this. Now I'm about to get deeper right quick. I'm about to get even deeper. And I want y'all to really follow me. Because as this it was this movie that came out. I've watched this movie about like a million times. But now that I understand this knowledge, I can like see it and know like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa now, because I know what's being conveyed. And the film was called Rattlesnake. If you got Netflix, check it out. It's a serious movie. And like I said, these horror movies are very, very serious. You know what I'm saying? Very serious, because it's a lot of wisdom in this. Like the shows like the Lucifer, Supernatural, the Exorcist movies, all of these movies like that, it'd be a lot. That's why I said we gotta know what these names mean, and we know what's going on. Know the directors, know what the names mean, know the year it come out. Like this stuff all matters, because it's all conveying the message. You know what I mean? Like as it's written, the prophecy and all of the things are fulfilled through the stars. Remember I said that humans, as I talked about it earlier, remember I said that humans are as the stars. That's why Lucifer said, I will rise above the stars of God. God's children are as his stars. You know what I'm saying? You have the literal stars, of course, but you have us as the light of the light of the earth. You know what I mean? So you see on the film Rattlesnake, you got Billy and you got Katrina. And what's deep about Carmen, she plays Katrina, right? So I want to talk about that, because if you've been following my channel for a while now, Carmen, hint that derives out of Kara, which don't mean nothing but anointed Messiah. You feel what I'm saying? So when you understand how deep this stuff goes, my bad. When you understand how deep this stuff goes, notice she played Katrina, which don't mean nothing but to purify. And what happens on the movie, you got your boy Billy, and I've been breaking that down, because in Exodus 3:14, Billy is short for William. Hint, I am that I am. Remember God told Moses, I am that I am is his name. So hint Billy, and then you got Carmen playing Katrina, which means purify. So I'm going to get deep right quick, because on the movie, Billy is from Texas. Remember, I just talked about George Floyd, man, with the Lone Star State, Longhorn State, Messiah Star, Bethlehem Horns of Salvation. So you see, you got your boy Billy right here. Is with his wife, and you see 26 is on Texas back there, right? When you understand the number 26, all that deals with is the rod of iron. You see that? It deals with the rod of iron. And what's so deep about that, because remember, as it's written, that the Messiah holdeth the rod of iron. Hint 26 is the iron. So it's like the Messiah with the rod of iron in Texas. So that's why he was inside the bar on this scene. Billy was with his wife. What tripped me out on the film, I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's because I took the picture. But on the film, he got his wife. He was like kind of like not abusing her, but he was basically, in a way. But you gotta remember, as it's written, Israel is as the bride. You remember the Most High utilizes tough love to a degree against Israel. He would do that because for Israel to follow his law, not in a sense of like being rude or anything. They're gonna play it out like that. But I'm talking about like in a sense of return unto me or curses shall fall on you. So hint the whole theme of being stern, you know what I mean? And you see right here, as it said, it shows, it says the book. I couldn't really see it too close, but it says the book of. But notice it got 1973, and notice it got 1971. And remember, this proving my point, because remember I was reading this earlier, that the woman brought forth the man child who should rule the nations with the rod of iron. As it's written that, behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads, 10 horns, 7 crowns upon his head, sought to destroy the child as soon as he's born. So hence 7 times 10 is 70s, and hence 7 crowns. July is the 7th month. Illuminati Day, July 4th. You know, you've been watching this channel, you know where I'm going. But for those who ain't familiar, this all connects with the whole Roman Empire, the whole theme of the United Union and so forth. But notice 7 times 10 is 70s, and then the 7 crowns. Hence July 7th month, Illuminati month, July 4th. So you see how you got 1971, 1973. I remember earlier I already said Messiah is the 76 degrees. You know what I'm saying? That's why in 1776 Illuminati had to be formed, and in 1976 is a very serious time, because that represents everything coming on the scene, Messiah being brought forth. Everything's coming on the scene. I'm going to explain that a little later on too, because this video I want to really break this stuff down. But notice how she's holding the books, like books of life, as it's written, as we were written in the book of life. And I broke down Michael B. Jordan as well. Remember where they was burning the books. You remember that? On Fahrenheit 451. Burning the books. You know what I'm saying? This is serious stuff. So notice what I want to talk about. This is Billy's license plate. T88-9. So hint T88, right? 88, obviously all that deals with is the whole theme of Messiah reaching like the high level, like the ascension. Let's keep it like that. Remember the death at 33, the ascension? Remember that? That's just keep it like the cosmic level, the ascension. So notice how you got 88 and you got T88, right? So when you understand how deep that goes, because when you understand T, as you can see right here, you got the letter T, like the neck, and then you got the O on the top, represent Messiah becoming the head, ruling the altar. Remember I was talking about Illuminati beheads and takes the head away. You know what I mean? So when you look at this, hint the whole thing of the head on top of the T. That's why his license plate had to be T88, because 88 represents, remember I said, the ascension, and then the letter T represent him being mounted to rule the altar. You feel what I'm saying? That was Billy's license plate. Notice what's deep is, notice how he was in Texas. Remember I said that earlier. He's in Texas, in Tullia, Texas, which is like right by El Paso from what I'm understanding. So when you look at it, you got your girl right here, Carmen, aka Katrina. Notice she put the mask on when she enters his house. Hint, entering the temple, entering his house. And you remember I said the mask on because, hint, as it's written, but one of the soldiers with the spear, pierced his side. So I want to show y'all something right quick. This is some serious stuff. Hint, the whole theme of the elevation mask, that's used to build up the lungs. You know what I'm saying? Hint, the whole theme of wearing the mask to build up the lungs. That's why now it's all about taking the mask off. Remember, I've been breaking that down about the rapper Future. Remember that song, Mask On, Take the Mask Off. You know what I'm saying? Because it actually helps build the lungs. But what they want to do is, can you remember Michael Jackson? Hold on. Michael Jackson, Dangerous cover. You see how he showed through the air, Messiah being able to breathe, obviously comes the kingdom of heaven. You know what I mean? That's all he was trying to show you. That's why they want to take the mask off, affect the blood, and then what? Put the mask back on, because it's all about trying to contaminate the blood, because Messiah is the blood of salvation. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you see how she wore the mask to go in there and to kidnap Billy. So what I want to show right quick, look at this. Notice right here, her daughter has the 72 as well. On a film, her daughter was injured because she had got bit by a snake, and it was all about the sacrifice that was necessary. You see that 72 right there? Remember I was talking about that earlier with Kobe, and then what's deep too. You see under that 15 right there, you got the Roman numerals, the 2, which don't look like nothing but the gateway. If you pay attention at the top left, you see that 15. And then you see that 2, because that represents like the Roman numeral 2, because that represents nothing but Messiah being the gate. You see that? And then at the top they got the whirlpool. Hint, the Messiah is the whirlwind. Remember, it's written. Remember, I said it earlier. Israel is as the four winds of heaven. So notice how all of this is in our face. Look at this.
I think we almost lost her. What was done for your daughter doesn't come cheap. Your little girl was spared. And now you owe a life in return.
You see that guy that was talking to her, telling her he need a soul. So it's this guy right here who's talking to her. He was saying you got to get there by 7 p.m. by sunset. Remember, I was talking about it earlier about the sunset, because remember I was talking about the Obamacare. So I'm about to explain this right quick, because this stuff is real, y'all, and it's all in our face. So notice Billy was watching UFC fighting. Remember, I already did my UFC breakdown. You can check that out as well. But notice UFC, Billy is watching UFC, because remember, as it's written in scripture, that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against higher powers and higher places, principalities, evil forces. So that's why he's watching UFC. And notice Billy has the ship on his window for his curtain, because remember, as it's written in scripture, that the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant man seeking, goodly pearls. You know what I mean? Notice the ship. This stuff is deep, and that all show like the Ark of the Covenant I've been talking about. Remember, I was breaking this down about the Ark of the Covenant. So notice Billy on the ship and the Ark of the Covenant. Ship, Ark and Covenant. Ship, Ark and Covenant. I just want y'all to see that. Like, there's no mistake. And you see you got the curtain, because remember, as it's written during the crucifixion, remember the veil split from top to bottom. You know what I mean? Hint, the whole thing with a curtain, man. This is that real. Look at this. What the fuck? And because she was trying to sacrifice herself instead, because she was trying to, so her daughter can live. So she tried to sacrifice herself instead. But look at this. See, the whole thing was about knocking Billy off the cliff, knocking Billy from being a ruler of the altar. You see how Billy had got the neck cut? I mean, he basically had fell down, and on the movie, I couldn't find a scene, but he had, basically he had got, I forgot to record it, but he had fell and she had cut his neck and finished him off. He got paralyzed. So how they want Messiah to be off the Ark of the Covenant. The whole thing was getting there by sunset, because the whole thing is sacrifice Billy, sacrifice Messiah. The rule. That's why on Power Rangers, remember Power Rangers, Billy had to die. Remember that. He had to be a sacrifice. You know what I mean? I can go on for days with this, man. It goes on and on and on and on, It's crazy. Hint right here, too, how on the movie, Billy, he lived at Amarosa. Hint, like I said, he's as Sharon's rose. He sprouted as the lily, as it's written in scripture. Notice he got the 12 on his address, because 12 hint the 12 tribes of Israel. Completion. Notice she blows up his car, because all that represent right there, which is so deep, hint the truck represent nothing but the Exodus. You notice how a pickup truck can be used to, carry storage, move things, move from one location to another. That's why she had to blow up the truck, because that represented going against the covenant with Messiah and joining up with the forces. So therefore what? Going to blasphemy, therefore you can knock Billy off the altar. If I just show y'all him falling. One more time. Remember, as it's written, notice the snake bit his leg, because it's just written in Genesis 3. Remember that he crushed the serpent. He shall crush the head of the serpent, and that the snake shall strike his heel. Look at this. You see, that stuff is deep, man. And destroy the car. Listen to this right quick. Pay attention to this.
When you feel you've done about the best you can,
forget the wagon, come join the band and vibrate higher. You know what I'm saying? That's all it's saying. Forget the wagon, forget the Exodus, forget Messiah being our way out, and come join the band. You feel what I'm saying? So notice how Billy went through that, man. That junk crazy. And then look at it. His soul was forever hunting her on the movie. After all it was said and done, he forever hunted her. Like, not hunted, but it was always like, he was always seen. Like, you know, why did you do this to me? You know what I'm saying? It's deep, man. Hint, in 2016, the year Kobe had his last game as well, which is deep because in 2016, notice that this is a movie called Home. And actually on the movie, Carrie was the main character. She was a religious girl, whatever, you know, etc. And when you know about the name Carrie, remember I was talking about that earlier, about the name Kara. Remember I was saying that earlier, the name Kara means nothing but anointed Messiah. So hint, Carrie derives out of Kara. And when you look at it, notice it said production company is Shoreline Entertainment. Because when you understand how deep that goes, remember as it's written, Israel is as the sands of the sea that no man should be able to number. So hint, Shoreline Entertainment. And Israel as the sands of the sea. And then notice Christopher Wong did the music. Hint, Christopher Christ. You see that? And notice the movie is called Home because what it's about is about like the little girl, her little stepsister starting to get possessed. Hint, the home, the house of Israel. And the little stepsister starting to get possessed. Hint, as it's written, Messiah cast out the demons and cast out the filth out of his people and renew them and make them be reborn so therefore they can get in the kingdom of heaven. Notice this came out the last year Obama was in office, and notice it came out the last year of Kobe's season. Hint, everything that glitters. It's a movie too. It's on Amazon Prime. And what's so deep about it is the main guy right here, you looking at, his name is Carl. And what he tried to do is he tried to set his wife and his daughter up to kill him so that he can go back to Africa. You feel what I'm saying? Because remember I already said it earlier. As it's written, in that day there should be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, right? So hint, this came out and he's trying to go back to Africa, so he got to get rid of his wife and everything. But what's so deep about that, hint, obviously in Egypt, you know, you got the true Israel is right above Egypt, right in Egypt, right by Egypt. So what's so deep about this is his daughter's name was Anna. And remember I was talked about this before, the daughter Anna, the name Anna don't mean nothing but Mary. So hint, his daughter is Anna. Like, look how they connect that. And then on the movie too, you got Cara Matthews. You see how deep that goes. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Everything that glitters. And what happened to him at the end of the movie, he ends up getting shot. You know, they rob him and he end up getting shot in the back of the head. Carl. Hint, Cara. And he was trying to go back to Africa. You know what I mean? This stuff is crazy. Hint, How to Get Away with Murder. That's why Viola Davis' name had to be Annalise. Hint, Anna. Because hint, how she teach how to get away with murder. Hint, the whole theme of that is solving the crime. Hint, this stuff is so deep, y'all, and it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But notice on the show too, that they got Billy Brown. He's an actor on the show. You see that? And then who executive produced it? Bill. Bill was a Delia. Hint, Bill. And then they got Alfred Enoch. Hint, Enoch. Remember, Enoch was a very loyal servant of the Most High. So Alfred Enoch he's an actor on the show as well. And then Bill is one of the actors. Come on, y'all. Like Billy. I am that I am. William. I am that I am. Will of I am that I am. Like, it's crazy, man. Hint, 2K21. I was actually not be playing it. But hint, 2K21. It's crazy because 76 overall, it's 99 76 overall players. And when you understand the number 99, which is very serious, the number 99 is a number of judgment. So notice 76 of them was 99 players are 76 overall. I counted them all. And then notice NBA 2K21, you got Zion Williamson, hint William, the son of William, the son of I am that I am, Mount Zion. And that's why he's on the next generation cover, because that represents the new kingdom coming. Zion is rising up. Mount Zion is coming into fruition. So look at it too. The Hawks. Remember I said in Revelation 4:7 that the Messiah is as a flying eagle. Notice the 76 overall is for the Hawks defense. That's not by mistake. Hint the eagle, the hawk, the eagle, the 76 defense. Come on, man. Let's get deeper into this, yo. Philadelphia 76ers. You got two 76 overall players. You got Seth and you got Danny Green. Seth Curry and Danny Green. Two 76 overall players in the starting lineup. Come on. Portland Trail Blazers win in 1976. They win the 1976-77 NBA Finals. And what's so deep about that is because when you look at the Portland Trail Blazers logo, it looks just like the third eye. And you already know, as it's written, hint, obviously the third eye, hint the theme of unlocking the third eye, therefore you shall be crowned. Hint Messiah. Remember I was talking about it earlier with the ascension. Remember I was talking about earlier with the with the Billy license plate. Let me find it. Remember I was talking about it earlier, the 88 represents like the ascension unto the T, which represent him becoming the head of the altar. Hint the whole theme of that, man. Like, that ain't by mistake. You know what I'm saying? This is not by mistake why in 76 they had to win the finals, because 76 just represents nothing but, like I said, the Messiah being a headstone. And then notice Portland Trailblazers, hint the third eye. Messiah being crowned. That same year, the Cincinnati Reds won the MLB, finals, the World Series. So notice the Cincinnati Reds won it because, hint, they go by Red Stock. That name used to be Red Stockings. And when you know how deep that is, hint the stockings, the socks. And hint Reds because they want to keep Messiah as a sacrifice, because it is written, and he said, draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thy standest is holy ground. Take off your shoes. So they say, no, we want to wear our red stock. We want to wear our red stockings, our socks. Keep Messiah as a sacrifice. Notice how they had to win in 76. That's why I've been breaking this down about the 76, y'all. And I'm about to take it even deeper. Because Scotty Barnes, who just got drafted by Toronto Raptors, and I'm going to show this right quick. He's a 76 overall player on the new 2K22 that's coming out. And when you know he plays for the Raptors, hint the Raptors played against the Warriors in 2019, which is the same year that movie I was telling y'all about earlier with Billy dying. Remember I was talking about Rattlesnake? That came out 2019, where Billy got sacrificed. Because what's so deep about that is it's crazy, because hint the Raptors represent nothing but the dragon, the beast, the dinosaur, the beast, mark of the beast, battling against the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors, the Warriors of God that's refined as gold through the fire. When he put us, we endure, therefore we become conditioned as gold. Enter into the kingdom. So notice Scotty Barnes got drafted by the Raptors, and he's a 76 overall player on the game. And notice he's wearing 67. Because when you understand the 67 aspect of this, which is so deep, is because remember J. Cole, Everybody Dies. Remember, he was wearing 67. Because that whole Mark of the Beast represent Toronto, trying to say that they rising up. The whole thing with the Mark of the Beast was rising up then. You know what I mean? Hint the 67 worn by him. Scotty Barnes, 67. Hint Everybody Dies. J. Cole got on 67 because it represents nothing but reversing the 76 of Messiah being a ruler. Everybody dies. You see how deep that goes? And there's no way around it. Let's get even deeper right quick. Hint the whole theme of everything going on right now with a shot. Hint you got the T-Rex uses the RX, like the pharmacy. Hint the RX. You see that? Hint, mark of the beast. And then you got your boy, remember Kong, remember he kills the T-Rex. That's why Kong, because all Kong represents the Messiah role. Notice how he always kills the dinosaur, the T-Rex. Every time, he always kills the T-Rex. Messiah overcoming, the mark of the beast, overcoming the beast that rises up against him. You see how deep that goes. And then what I want to show y'all too right quick, notice he got thunderstruck on Night Riders. You see how he got thunderstruck. You see you got that lightning. Remember as it's written, Satan fall from heaven like lightning. Let's look deeper into this. Now what's deep is you remember that show called Night Rider. And remember you had Kit and you had Kara. Hint Kara. Karr. Right? And then you had Kit. And what's so deep is because Kit was voiced by William. Hint I am that I am. Right? And what's so serious about this is it's literally like the duality aspect, because remember how Messiah is as he was a sacrifice first and then he becomes king. So notice Kit battles against Karr. You know what I mean? They battle against each other, Kit and Kara. So you see how deep that goes, because like I said, Kit was voiced by William, hint I am that I am, and hint Kara. And what's so deep about it is Kara was damaged. Kara had got damaged from from falling into the sea before. You know what I mean? The car was put in the sea. And remember, as it's written that the Messiah, as Jonas was in the whale's belly, remember how he's in the heart of the earth. So hint the whole thing, how he's the living waters. He's in the sea, like being the man out the sea. Represent nothing but people. Hint our body is 72% water. So you see how you got Karr, how he was damaged from water before, and then the second time he was damaged by fire. Because remember, as it's written, that the Messiah is bronze as if he was burnt in the furnace. So notice how they had the two cars battling each other, because Kit represented nothing but Messiah. It was voiced by Williams. And notice that it was a Pontiac Trans Am. You feel what I'm saying? And what's so deep is that the car was actually created in August 1982. That was the birth month of the car, 1982. That's on the show. And remember when I was talking about August, it's the Virgo month. That's why I had broke that down earlier about Revelation 12, about the woman, travailing and crying in birth, bringing forth Messiah. Remember I was talking about 1976. Look at this right quick. See how August is like it's the beginning of the Virgo month. Hint August 23rd, 823. Remember I said Kobe's birthday, and the Houston 823. Remember 823 is like during the time of Virgo. Kobe was a Virgo. So you see how all that with the Virgo, you know what I mean? The virgin aspect. So look how all of that comes together, man. Like this stuff is crazy. Like it's crazy. That's why Karr and Kit were battling each other, because it just represented nothing but Messiah overcoming, being a sacrifice and becoming king. That's why he had to send Kara into the water and into the fire. Look at this right quick. Before I end this video. Remember Hawk battled Thanos. Hint Hawk is David Banner. That's his name. So hint Messiah roots out of the house of David as the banner, unto Israel to follow. And then hint Thanos represent Messiah coming in full form to rule. So all this whole fight was like basically Messiah overcoming his past self. You know what I mean? How we have to overcome, being, in a sense of being unclean to becoming cleaned. You know what I'm saying? Spiritually. So look at this. Notice the first hit is in the neck. Because remember I said the whole thing, Messiah coming to rule the Ark of the Covenant. Alright, look at them. Get right to the point. Notice how he broke that pillar right there. Because remember when I was talking about it earlier, which is deep, because remember I was talking about, let me pull it up right quick so you can understand what I'm saying. Because this is deep, y'all. Just wanted to use this right quick. You see how you got the pillars, how it creates the door? You see that hint, the Gemini sign is air, hint Messiah, has to breathe. So notice, therefore, the door comes. So hint cracking off one of the pillars represent Messiah, the first coming. You know what I'm saying? and he overtook that because now he's the second coming. So it just represented, doing the pillar like that. And then notice how he slammed him on the ground, because that represents casting away that former Messiah to where he becomes the ruler now. The king, Thanos, ruler of the Infinity Stones. You feel what I'm saying? It's all in our face, y'all. Just about who got the eyes to see and ears to hear. You feel me? But I'm actually going to end that right here, because all this stuff connects together, man. All of it. But I'm going to end that right here. Thank you for watching Hide and Seek TV. Much more is coming. Peace.